What's up, gamers? What I have for you today is some Restoration Shaman adventures with some guildies. We're doing a plus 13 Algeth'ar Academy Fortified with Entangling and Bolstering. What you're going to notice on these first couple pulls here is that the Warlock snags aggro, does a crap ton of damage, and we wipe a couple times. Here I think I definitely should have used a little bit more coolies going in. I don't think I used my Spirit Link Totem correctly. Overall, I'm really kind of still relearning Shaman from Shadowlands, so overall I think it was pretty okay. It's kind of nutty seeing, I believe it was 3, 4, 5 million DPS from the Warlock going out here, so it is what it is. So here I am. My handle is Sawkward, which stands for so awkward, and to seize the awkward conversations. Thought of this name while attempting to be kind of an advocate for mental health, especially during the COVID pandemic. Got a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I play a bunch of video games, primarily WoW at the moment, while I'm not at my day job in property management. What I'm kind of looking to get out of this channel is some experience in video editing, and ultimately a way to be able to get better by analyzing my gameplay and the different games that I play. And while I multi-class a couple of different healers, I decided to main Resto Shaman for this throwaway tier, but I primarily, since Dragonflight came out, I've been in Evoker Preservation main. I have my Shaman at about 514. Preservation Invoker I just got to 499. I also mess around with the Disc Priest here and there, a Mistweaver Monk last tier, and I dabble in a Holy Pally. Don't really do much for the Resto Druid, it's just not my cup of tea. When I'm not really feeling healing, or when it's late in the tier and we're just leveling a bunch of alts, I mess around with a Frost Mage, I have a Beast Mastery Hunter, Fury Warrior, and Warlocks. And the first pull obviously didn't go quite well, but it was fun to try it anyway. So here we are on the second pull, doing a little bit safer approach. So we should get by it just fine now. But as far as WoW playtime for me specifically, I kind of started somewhat seriously. Oh, I got obliterated. I started somewhat seriously in Shadowlands. I believe it was around season 3 is when me and my friend really got into it. It started as a Resto Shaman. At that point, really kind of didn't like raids. I only really liked doing the dungeons, and we didn't really know what we were doing, so we ended up just doing some lower keys and stuff, so getting a feel for everything. It was pretty fun. Season 4 Shadowlands, we got a little bit more into it, a little bit higher keys. I'm not really sure exactly what we got to, but we were close-ish to getting portals, I think. But anyway, we messed around with raid a little bit there, here and there. But anyway, Dragonflight came out, and that's when we actually really started playing. The Evoker class, just in general, really piqued my interest, so I liked it a whole lot. So we got a little bit more into it on season 1 of Dragonflight. Got into the raids, got AOTC, ended up getting 3 out of 8 mythic. That's here. For the M+ side, we got a bunch of those portals in season 1. Season 2 was more the same, doing portals, kind of trying to push more as far as M+ goes. But that tier was mainly a raiding tier, where we got into the guild that we're currently in right now, ended up getting Cutting Edge in Aberrus off of Sarkareth, which raiding seriously for 2 tiers is kind of pretty sick, getting Cutting Edge that early. We got a decent guild, decent time, really fun. After that season 3, the most recent one that we just came out of for in Midrizo, we didn't quite get to Cutting Edge. We got 7 out of 9. So that's pretty upsetting, pretty unfortunate. But overall, that really got us back into the Mythic Plus scene. I believe we got up to 31, 3200, which is me and my tank friend. And got a bunch of other alts up to 25, 26, 2700, I think. This tier with the Season 4 kind of awakened mess around tier, we've been pushing so far. We're having a lot of fun trying to get in with a full team in our guild so we can try to just make a real big push for that title this go around. If it is one, I'm not sure. But regardless, M plus is where I really like to do stuff. It's more sporadic. You get to think, so. This tree boss in Algeth'ar is one of my favorite bosses. It's pretty self-explanatory. You got a dance, you kill some ads, you kill the healing ad, you stand to heal, kill some more ads that destroy your tank and your other friendos if they get aggro. But overall, it's I feel like this boss is real team-based, which I enjoy. And there goes someone that died to the ad spawning. Unfortunate. But we got him in there. Yeah, I like it because we can really kind of just pat on the ads. I like seeing big damn numbers as a healer with healing rain, acid rain, and some storm keeper, chain lightning action. Here I use my poison cleansing totem, which isn't always necessary when you're running a pally, because they can just run their poison cleanse. But when poisons get on the rest of your team on this boss, it's pretty needed. That way you don't just all fall over and die. Rest of this boss is pretty simple. We destroy it and head on over to Crawth, which is kind of my main enemy. Coming from Season 1 as an evoker. Anything with range, really. The bird boss in this one, the storm boss in Nakud. Anything with range, I'm really having kind of a vendetta on this tier. Being able to go in with a Resto Shaman, having a lot of more range, and just overall more damage capability. I can just toss down a heal, and it also is top 2 in my damage. And then I have AG that heals based on my damage, so it's all really nice this tier. So overall, this really kind of concludes anything random I just want to talk about in the first little section of this video. I got a lot of plans that I'd like to do, but I really just got to get around to having the capability to actually do these videos. I've been sitting on this video for, what, 4 or 5 days now, just trying to muster up the oomph to be able to voice over it. The main thing I want with these videos is I want to get a little bit into video editing, just as a side hobby thing to keep me interested while I'm not at work or whatever. But I also just want to end up getting better at any game I play, especially like WoW, something that I see myself playing for a very long time, and I'm having a lot of fun with right now. So being able to go back in the video, critique myself, see things that I could have done better with logs and stuff. Overall, I think it's just a plus. Right there, I definitely could have just went beyond the pillar. But honestly, at that point, I wasn't thinking that I could. For some reason, I know I can, and still not get hurt. But it is what it is. Some other ideas that I kind of have that I really want to bring about, and actually might be a little bit easier, a little bit live commentary action, kind of pug adventures. I feel like that'd be a little easier just to get out as I'm speaking while I'm playing the game anyway. So anyway, I hope the rest of this video is pretty decent. I'll chime in on other things that I'm seeing, kind of have a voice for when I'm noticing I'm doing wrong, things that I noticed that I did pretty well. These 3 packs right here before Bird Boss, I think are super fun. I try my best to out damage someone. Going through with the Master of the Elements buff, going from Fire Blast to a nature spell. So I try to go Fire Blast into Healing Rain, then the Fire Blast into Stormkeeper, Chain Lightning, Fire Blast into Chain Lightning again. That usually plumps me up there pretty well. And hopefully my teammates don't use their cooldowns, and then I can look like a boss. So right there, I'm above the Warlock a little bit right there. So even for a second, it's kind of nice as a healer. Because you don't really get that any kind of recognition when you keep people alive. Because over here just thinking that, you know, I'm popping my defensive as I should, and the healer's doing his job, which is yes. But a lot of these moments are pretty intensive, especially if you haven't really been through them a lot. That's one issue I run into. A lot of these keys I haven't really had my practice per se. So it is what it is. So I hope the rest of this video is entertaining and somewhat, or at least you're able to find this searching for some high key, for some other kind of influence on what you can or should be doing as a Resto Shaman, or see something that's ridiculous and that you know not to do that anymore because of me going through this. I'm not going to tell you how this key ends necessarily, but it is a decent, fun ending to say the least. So stay tuned. Like I said, I am hoping to be able to pump out one a week here, maybe even more. Try to get into some pug adventures. I think that'd be pretty funny. Show you the thralls of being a healer and not having a full team. One of the big things with this boss that you really gotta make sure that you understand is the bleed that gets on the tank. They nerfed it recently, so it's not as bad, but you should still make sure you keep your maintenance healing up on him. And then the AoE scream that happens on everyone, you really gotta make sure, no matter how much you want to be able to time a perfect chain heal, perfect dream breath, spirit bloom, or whatever it is, if you're casting while that goes off, you will be interrupted from being able to do any spells of that school again. I'm pretty sure I messed up on this one at some point. It is what it is. DPS and tanks have defenses for a reason. At some points, most classes have a self heal. Everyone has pots they can use. So if it actually does get scary like that, they should utilize their tools. So I usually try to have maybe a healing stream totem up, or a healing tide totem if I'm just kind of wanting to AFK a little bit. And then of course with this boss, you gotta go the orbs and the pools. You go red one first, gives you a big stun, big damage amp, or one usually plus from there on Tyrant weeks, so you can deal metric crap ton of damage. But it also resets the stacks on that AoE scream, so the next couple you can take and not be too much of an issue. And secondarily, Orbs will spawn again for the other side, a little wind one. We glitch it out here. I think we waited too long to do the first round. But essentially the second wind obviously spawns tornadoes, big gusts of wind that just toss you everywhere. So you have to pick up a buff, so then you can be able to walk normally, stand normally, while also dodging all these fireballs. Pretty fun boss, ultimately, I think. Kind of a 3-phase fight to me. But yeah, just gotta watch out not to get stunned, interrupt locked. Oh, there it goes. 5-second nature luck. Cannot do anything. I'm screaming to my guys, and they're obviously not doing anything. But it also helps that there's not a lot of damage other than that scream, or if you stand in a swirly. at this point in the boss fight, so all's good there. This next trash pull that we're doing, I actually like a lot. It makes me feel useful as a healer, because ultimately there's not a whole lot of damage going out on these packs. So I can just be the furthest away, get the targeted on this big ad here, and then I can just LOS him. That way he doesn't go to any of my teammates, and he doesn't move. So all damage uptime is still there, and everyone can just keep blasting away. All I gotta really make sure is my tank stays alive, so keep up Earth Shield, Riptides on him, and then bleeds. Same thing with baiting on this pack right here. I can't. The Ravager here. I did mess up, I think, on the last one or two where I LOS'd him before he did the targeted dash. So then he targeted my Warlock, I think. And it wasn't a big issue, but if it happens overall, yeah, right there. And like I said, that did damage. Luckily enough, we were fine. We have enough stamina at this point in the game to be able to take a hit, and then I just recover from there. And then I understand what I did, so I did it correctly from then on. Vexamus is a boss that I'm not gonna lie, I still don't quite fully understand. He tosses some balls out. You should take them. I know in season one the tank generally took most, or if not all of them, if I remember correctly. But for some reason we haven't been doing that. So essentially everyone's been taking one. I usually take two, so I can just dispel myself. I don't have a dispel timer up, so I'm not really getting the rest of my team. Mana bombs come out. That's a big damn on your team, on you. Um, Real good to make sure they get out. That's burst right there where they push you back. There's some overlaps with that and the mana bomb. Best thing you can do is try to make sure you have a defensive and definitely make sure everyone's topped up. I know here I did a very bad spirit link totem. I had good intentions, but people were running away because they had the mana bomb. Um, because it was one of those overlaps. So that's just coordination with the team, trying to make sure when the best time to use something like that, because Spirit Link Totem gives a 10% DR, so it is very useful in those situations. He's gonna make sure people are stacked up. Probably at this little right corner here where they usually go, so. But we kill this pretty much just fine, even without our Warlock. Got a little scary there, but we all good. And there's my very bad Spirit Link Totem when they had mana bombs. They both literally just jumped out. Again, that's just coordination. I probably should have put it toward the right side where they were dropping their mana bombs, or tried to get it once everyone was coming in, but at that time it's not real useful other than just the heal one person, heal everyone type deal. Something that you may or may not know about this pull right here with these spinners here. On these stairs, you can Z access. So if you're above or below when they start spinning, you won't get hit. Even though I've noticed my teammates do get hit sometimes, so I don't know if that's them just not working it correctly or what's going on. On these invokers, they cast an astral bomb, which you don't necessarily want to stop, because that just puts a circle on you where you can then walk into the ads and deal massive damage. That just helps on clear. The arcane missiles, however, you definitely really want to stop. And then, of course, if we're on flat ground, you want to stop the spins, so that way you limit all damage if possible. So here we are making hard decisions, trying to figure out the normal route for us. We don't pull these 3 padding, so we just hit the 4 by the door, and then we can kill those and then go to boss. But we have 4 minutes left in this key, and I believe less coming up. So we are making the decision to pull everything in the boss, doing some MDI strats, at a very lower scale. But it gets scary because if you're not stopping the missiles or the spins, and especially when you get pulled in by this boss, it's a death wish. But we're a pretty good group. As long as you're coordinated with the stops, there's no real big issue. Most of the time we actually just wing stuff, so kept me on my toes a little bit. But overall, I think we're pulling it pretty well. We're focusing on the dragon and just doing the little cleave on the other guys. These arcane missiles should be stopped a lot earlier than that, but same with these spins. Because if you get pulled right here, you're getting hit by a circle, you're getting hit by the spins, and the missiles are just doing a ton of damage anyway. I know they've changed this boss a lot. They started last year. It was you get these debuffs on you when she hits you, or when you get hit by an orb. And there goes my monk, probably because one of the spins or something, and one of the orbs, the debuff. The debuffs give you extra damage, which is nice, but in Season 1, when you got 3 of them, you then spawned a circle, like over here to the right, which then pulses out the orbs. And it was just a mess. Nowadays, the boss starts with 2 of these circles here that pulses out the orbs from the very beginning. And now you can have 3 debuffs, and on the 4th debuff, you then get a circle to spawn. However, I think we glitched it out on this boss. I don't think it ended up spawning those for the majority of them. Or maybe it was a change that I didn't see. I'm not really too sure. But we got all the odds down, so now we're just racing the clock. We got a minute and a half at this point to do 37% damage on the boss. So I'm going to leave this with you, and let's go. And there it is. We were able to time that 13 with just about 30 seconds left to spare. It's pretty bonkers. That was the highest key that we've timed so far. I think the other key was like an 11 Azure Vault or something. So it's pretty nice to get that one over. It was a one-shotter, so and still is a lot of confidence here. So we can hopefully keep rolling on this, keep pushing, and hopefully make a strong contention for title this season, if there is one, but regardless. Yeah, there it is. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you get something from it. Hopefully I get something from it. And let's keep rolling.